When establishing a free-range flock, some decisions need to be made before the hens arrive on the farm. The first step to layer management in a commercial enterprise is buying quality birds to meet your enterprise needs.
Well, the 4 commercially available breeds in Australia, they're all brown egg layers. That's the Highline, the Lohman, the Isa and the Bond. The main advantage of a commercial layer breed is that it's been developed over many, many years. So the production that you would get from that bird, or the egg size particularly you'll get from that bird, and livability and those sort of characters, way ahead of any sort of heritage breed or backyard breed.
Not only are commercial breeds the best option for production rates, they are also readily available and have known performance data.
The 4 producers of commercial birds, they have big technical services and they can offer you advice on nutrition, veterinary advice, management advice. Most of them will have manuals and performance expectations, which you can't get from these small heritage breed producers or backyard producers. If you need hundreds of birds or thousands of birds, then you have to go to one of the big suppliers to guarantee that you get the birds as you want, when you want them, to meet your production requirements.
When establishing a flock, you can either buy started pullets or day-olds.
Well, I think for small-scale producers, the started pullets is the best option. If you buy day-olds or you buy started pullets, probably there's not much difference in the cost at the point of lay, but there's a lot of extra work involved in day-old chicks as far as rearing schedules, feed changes, vaccination programs, and if you don't get it right, then the birds won't perform.
When sourcing your stock, ensure that you use a reputable supplier. The way the bird is reared will determine the quality and performance of the layer. Reputable suppliers will also be able to produce records to show that your birds have been vaccinated against Newcastle disease, which is a legal requirement for commercial flocks with more than 1,000 birds.
The 4 commercial suppliers would all provide similar information. They need to supply data to you as far as the vaccinations that they've done, because there are some legal requirements. They should advise you of the body weights scheduled during rearing so that you know the birds are correct weight for laying, and they should be able to provide you with technical information in other areas if required, such as nutrition, veterinary and general management.
Timing of bird replacements is important to achieve a steady flow of egg production and uniform egg size year-round. Most small farms have several flocks, placed at intervals throughout the year to achieve a continuous egg supply. This is because if the entire flock is placed at one time, and therefore goes out of production at one time, there will be a period where the enterprise has no eggs to sell. Not only will the business have no cash flow, but you may lose markets.
Well, for the small producer, it's difficult to have a single-age flock, especially when you have to bear in mind that you have to meet your customer requirements on a continuous basis. If you're a bigger producer and you have separate sheds, then ideally it would be single-age flock in each shed, but one-age flock will not meet your commercial requirements because it starts off at low eggs and then builds up to bigger eggs and then high egg production down to lower egg production, so you don't have a consistent egg supply.
But each batch of birds should be managed as a separate flock to assist with disease and general bird management. Orders for batches of pullets need to be placed well before the birds are required. Early orders will ensure supply. Know what birds you want to buy and when, and place an order with a quality supplier.
You need to have a regular ordering pattern of birds, and if you're taking in day-olds and growing those yourself, then it would be something like a 3 to 6 month ordering. If you're getting the started pullets in, then probably 6 to 12 months advance notice.
Some other things to consider when establishing a flock is beak trimming and pullet rearing systems.
Well, beak trimming is one thing that people will consider. Some people have personal preferences. They don't like to see the bird altered in any way, but you have to bear in mind the attributes of birds in large numbers. They do have a tendency to pull feathers and they do have a tendency to pick. If you didn't require that or you didn't want that, then you can certainly request that it's not done. But then you may have to wear the consequences of picking or feather pulling.
When sourcing started pullets, consideration should be given to the system in which they were reared. Whether they were raised in a shed or had access to the outdoors might influence how you deal with them when they arrive on the farm. For example, a pullet reared indoors may experience stress if suddenly put outdoors in the middle of winter. Before buying birds, be aware of your responsibilities. You must be able to meet requirements under existing codes and legislation for animal welfare, biosecurity, and stock diseases. If you require more information about any of the subjects covered here, please be in contact with the New South Wales Department of Primary Industries.